Hello, hello, hello. Hi, 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 hi.
Hello.
It is episode number 300. Yeah, it is 321 of This Week in WordPress. Oh, that's quite nice. That's got a nice ring to that, isn't it?
Yeah,
321. That's quite good.
exactly.
We did episode 404 of the podcast the other week, which has also had a nice ring to it. And just a few weeks before that, episode number 400. It's very nice. There were three of us. No, four of us.
Four of us.
But
Yes, but we lost Corey.
we've lost Corey. Corey's video was a bit jittery, so maybe he's rebooting his machine or something. But nevertheless, when Corey drops back in, we'll bring him back onto the show. But you can see that there's at least three of us going at the moment, so that's quite nice. Firstly, I'll introduce Taco Verdonshot, whose name apparently I cannot spell. Because it's got a C in it in the surname, not in Taco. I did know that.
It also has a C in taco, but yeah.
If you took that out, it'd be Tao, which is actually quite a nice word. But Taco Verdonshot, how you doing? Yeah. How you doing, Taco?
I'm good, thank you.
You were saying to me that you're not that pleased with the background there. It's kind of it's a lot to take in your background, isn't it, with all the parallel lines?
Yeah, so there's a reason why I'm not facing it with my desk, because it's horrible and it would drive me crazy within a working day. So that's why it's behind me. But then, on video, it hurts your eyes. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, the plant is good. The plant breaks it up. Yeah, if you can't change the background, just get loads of jungly material, and
works for me. Yeah.
So Taco is working in a different line of work at the moment. We've known Taco for many years from Yoast, but I'll give you his biography. And Corey, if you can hear me, we'll drag you in just a second. After leaving Yoast last year, Taco joined the Emilia team to work on Progress Planner. We'll talk about that in a minute. The new plugin to help you fight procrastination on those important website maintenance tasks. He's also an active polyglot, translating WordPress to Dutch. He's also a meetup organizer at WP Meetup Nijmegen and the WordCamp mentor for WordCamp Lithuania. Outside, are you really? I did not know that. That's snuck in there. Is that a new thing?
Well, I became a mentor for them a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
But I have been mentoring other WordCamps in the past, like Wrigley Bay.
Oh, gosh. Oh, nice. Outside of WordPress, he's a father of two, husband of one, and generally doesn't like to sit still. He's planning, here we go. He's planning on doing the 4-day marches in Nijmegen again this year, but might turn out to be too old for that. And then there's a word beginning with S, which has got 4 letters in it, which I'm not going to say because we'll get a takedown notice on YouTube. But you're not that old. You don't look too old.
Yeah.
4 days, though. That's a long time.
It's 4 days, 50 kilometers each. So
each day?
Yes.
Oh, you are too old for that.
Yeah, I did it 2 years ago, but without proper training, and that was not a good idea. So I'm gonna retry this year with proper training. I still finished though 2 years ago.
Oh, well done, but in some sort of agony, I suspect.
Yes. Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us. And just so that you know, if you're spelling Taco's surname, it does have it's SCHOT, not SHOT, as I incorrectly spelled it. I apologize for that. And we're also joined by Nicky Bulmer, first timer. How are you doing, Nicky?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
Kind of the WordPress black sheep here. I don't have all of the credentials in the WordPress world.
Do you know what? It doesn't matter. If you're a WordPress user, that's all it takes. But let's read your bio. Nicky Bulmer has been with Liquid Web for over 15 years, initially as a Red Hat certified Linux sys admin. There's all the credentials you need, Nicky. But currently is the technical hiring coordinator for Liquid Web, Nexus, Stellar WP, which all kind of come under the same banner. Working on the Get Hired podcast, along with Post Status, to help folks struggling to get hired practice interviewing and get a free resume review. And we'll mention that in a little moment. Before the end of the show, we'll talk about that podcast and see if we can get it into your podcast player of choice. So, Nicky, I appreciate you joining us, and hopefully it isn't a terrible experience and you'll wish to come back. That is my wish. Where are you coming from?
I'm here in Michigan. I don't know if you can hear my heater blasting in the background, but it's like 4 degrees here today. So
okay, yeah. Let's not get into the US politics, but I know it is a big day in the US politics today. So
Try not to think about it.
okay, all right, okay. And
Just
here we
4
go.
more years, Nathan. Just 4 more years.
4 more years. 4 more years.
Hopefully.
And look at that! Look at that! There's a nice plug. If ever I saw
Perfect
one,
timing.
joins the show with his.
I've been sitting here for 4 minutes holding it up.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. For those of you listening, Corey just joined the show and he's got his mug, his OMG IMG plug-in mug right there in front of him. How you doing, Corey? What went wrong? Did you you just did it not restart or something?
Oh, it's my computer's having a morning.
Okay. But it's all working now. You look considerably.
Is the lag still there?
Yeah. No. And you've not got square pixels which make up your head.
I think you should dance a little bit more so we can be sure.
That's right. Come on. Yeah.
Last week being on the show, a lot of my jokes didn't land, and now I'm going to assume that it was because there was lag in the video, not because my jokes were terrible.
I didn't detect any jokes.
Wow!
Dang.
Roasted.
It's because you're English and you don't understand sarcasm.
We have nothing apart from sarcasm. Sarcasm, by the way, is the best form of humor. It's easy to deploy. It's great. Love sarcasm. Anyway, here we go. Corey Maass is such a short biography. Is the founder and creator of OMG IMG. You can see it on the mug. And he is also a WordPress freelance developer. There we go. That is our panel for this week. I very nearly got you all a piece of music. I was trying to think of fun ways to liven the show, and I was this close to getting a little bit of music for each of your intros. And then I just didn't pull the trigger, and I thought, no, that's too weird. But now that it didn't happen, I'm thinking next week I'm going to get.
I was hoping you'd sing again.
Oh gosh, yeah, I got a few messages. I got a few tweets about that, and most of it not very wholesome.
That's not nice.
No, not nice. Not sarcasm. Sarcasm is what I got.
It was perfectly adequate.
Yeah, it was satisfactory. It was perfectly reasonable singing.
It was as good as your dad jokes.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. And I can only deploy dad jokes. If you are joining us live, that's really appreciated. Thank you. The best place to do that is by heading here. wpbuilds.com/live. Over there, if you're on a desktop, on the right are some chat widget. It's coming directly from YouTube. Yeah, the other right, that one, that one. And if you are logged into Google, you can obviously use those. However, if you don't like Google or don't have a Google account, then you can click the little live chat button inside the video player, top right. And if you do that, then you can you can chat without being logged into anything. You just need to type your name in. So go and share that with your friends, relations, enemies, guinea pigs, whatever. wpbuilds.com/live. That, by the way, was a joke. Don't go and share it with your guinea pigs. They don't have a computer. They won't be able to join us. But there we go. The other thing to say is really appreciate it if you do make a comment. It's terribly nice, those people that do. And here are a few people that have. Influence WP is joining us. Hello. From Charlotte, North Carolina in the US. Bet Hannon is saying hi from Bend, Oregon. What a great name. Is that the name of the town? Is it called just simply Bend? I think that's fabulous. What a cool name. Friendly Web Guy. Stay tuned, Friendly Web Guy. Version 2.2 or something of your plugin. Good afternoon from a secret location. Somewhere outside the M25, a few miles from the M3 Junction 3. Okay, what's going on? Working for the military now.
Rave going on. There are 12,000 hippies in a field.
That's
dancing
right.
their asses off.
Yeah, something's going on. He can tell us later. Matt Cromwell, hi. Taco and Nicky and Wad podcast. Woo! Yeah, I didn't get a mention, and neither did you, Corey. I don't know what to say about that. 4 Fahrenheit, colder than me here in Germany. Yeah, we get this thing, Nicky, where people tell us what the weather is like. That seems to have died down this week, but love sarcasm, says Taco. Thank you, appreciate it. Good afternoon, WP Builds and all, says Atif. Very nice to have you with us. And Tammy Lister is saying afternoon. Very nice to have you. Please make some comments if you've got anything you would like us to hear or what have you. I'm happy to put those on the show. and try the only bit of multitasking I'm capable of in my working week is doing comments and talking at the same time. So here we go. This is what we got for you this week. Self-promotion coming up. Firstly, this is us, wpbuilds.com. Thank you to our 3 sponsors that we've got at the moment. We have got GoDaddy Pro, Bluehost, and OmniSend. Appreciate keeping the lights on over here. If you want to keep up to date with what we do, put your email address in there and hit subscribe, and we'll send you a couple of emails each week about the content that we make. Aside from that, this is the content that we make. And we're on episode number 405 of the podcast. And I just wanted to mention this. This is I love this image art, this album art, by the way. That took me whole minutes to come up with, whole seconds, I would say. Mark Westgard and I have started a new show on WP Builds. We'll be doing it about once every 3 months, and it's just called The Nice Show. And
it's quite nice.
Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. My day is complete. My life is complete. And the idea is that we're just going to say nice things about stuff, because there's too much not nice happening and too many not nice things being said on social media platforms. And so we thought we'll do a show based upon only nice things. And so that's exactly what we did. So if you want to hear it, go to episode number 405 and we'll tell you about nice internety things. We'll tell you about nice real worldy things. We'll tell you about nice people that we've met and so on and so forth. So we'll be back probably in about 3 months' time, and hopefully 1 or 2 nice things will have happened between now and then, so that we've got some actual content. But yeah, please go and check it out and leave us a comment there. You know, the whole WordPress comment thing that nobody uses anymore, down there somewhere. Where is it? I don't know. Well, there it is, right at the bottom.
Actually, I mean, I've been blogging for the first time in the past couple of weeks.
Oh yeah,
and I was surprised how active comment sections become again now.
Your comments, yeah. Oh,
well,
yeah.
No, overall, I mean, I've seen that on other blog posts as well.
Yeah.
Where people, instead of responding on X or Mastodon or Blue Sky or what have you, actually respond in the blog comments, and I like it. It's going back.
Have you come across like anybody who's using Substack? Because I think Substack's a really interesting enterprise. Like, I don't use it, but a few of the influential people that I follow, you know, nothing to do with WordPress, just people out there whose opinions I really like and what have you. A lot of them are on Substack. And because it's all on this one platform, it's a bit like WordPress.com or something like that. But because it gets a sense, because you log in to comment, it gets a sense of what you like. But it's unlike Facebook. It's not really tracking you for, you know, putting adverts down your throat. It's just trying to figure out, okay, you like that bit of content, did you? Great. Here's another person on our platform who's doing something which we think is quite similar. So it kind of sucks you back in. But this podcast that I listened to, he dropped a podcast episode, and I swear I went to his comment section about an hour later, and there were over 390 comments already. Wow. So people are willing to do it. It's just I think Facebook took that game away, didn't they? And Twitter for a period of time, but maybe we're getting more into that.
Yeah. I hope to see more people go to actual blogs and comment there, because it's nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been following. Again, sorry, Nicky, sorry, Corey. If you want to chip in, this is apropos of nothing. It's certainly not what we were intending to talk about. But why
I have
not?
no comment.
Yeah. Whoa, good. You see, that was a joke. I got it. I got that one. The Activity Pub plugin, which is constantly being updated by Matthias Pfefferle. And we'll talk about Mastodon in a bit, which is one example of how Activity Pub can be used. That can consume comments onto your website. So, you know, if somebody comments on your website, it goes back onto Mastodon. And if somebody comments on Mastodon, it goes onto your website. So it's like this central hub. Your website becomes a first-class citizen, almost like it is the owner of an account. And I think the future of things like that is quite good. So you're not cross-posting. You are literally posting comments on somebody's website, which then fly backwards and forwards. It's very clever. Very, very clever. All right. We've got a couple of other people joining us, as opposed to the mean show. Yeah. I was thinking of starting that one, but I couldn't find a guest to do it with me.
It was
Matt, do you
that one
fancy?
was a bit too average.
Yeah,
We-
yeah.
That one was a thinker.
Yeah, that was a good one. Matt says Substack has some great writers. I follow a few good ones on there and get their stuff in my email. I like the idea that that platform a lot. Yeah, it's really neat. Really neat. It's just for writers, basically. It doesn't offer much functionality outside of that. And then Bet says, actually, I'm seeing folks promoting zero-click marketing, where all the content and comments is on social media in long-ish form. Yeah. Anyway, if you do fancy commenting on the nice show, go to wpbuilds.com, search for episode number 405, and leave us a comment there. All righty. Let's get stuck into the actual project itself, WordPress.org. I don't know if you're a Gutenberg user, any of you, but I am. This is basically all that I use now inside of WordPress, and version 20 has come along, which means, if you follow it closely, that means it's the 200th release of the Gutenberg plugin. It's been almost exactly 8 years. I'm just reading from the website since the initial commit to the Gutenberg repository, and about 4 years since the 100th release. And I think this is really nice. Fabian, who wrote this post, just wanted to give a bit of a shout out and a bit of a thanks to all the people who are still contributing or did contribute but have moved along in one way, shape or form. So that's nice when people do that. And the things which have changed in version 20 are the style book. I don't know if anybody ever uses the style book, but the style book, if I just click play on this, style book enables you to sort of have a real overview of all the different, I don't know, H1s, H2s, paragraphs, block quotes, whatever, on your website in this one interface. And you can change by clicking on buttons how it might all look. They have added some different sections for typography, color, individual blocks that activate when the user navigates around those menu items. So that's quite nice. Starter patterns get a new UI. I honestly haven't used start patterns at all, but starter patterns live in here at the top. You've got these ones which you can basically click in to get a layout, a pre-built layout of your choosing, which is really nice. And also, it's easy to now set up a page to become the post page from within that editor. You just click the little 3 dots icon and you can make your whatever page that you're on into the post page. So it's like this slow, inexorable move from what we used to have, the WordPress UI, into this sort of more block-based site editing UI. And also now you can add a little tag, a little thing here, which I'm circling around, which will show what the original block was if you rename it something else. So they've changed it into About Us. And unless you knew what that icon was, that was the group icon, then you wouldn't know. But now it's been given a little thing. So it's fairly minor, pretty nerdy, pretty technical. But anybody want to comment on that? If not, I'll move on.
I thought we weren't supposed to call it Gutenberg anymore.
Oh, okay. Brian?
Well, the Gutenberg plugin is still Gutenberg.
That's true. Yeah. Are you thinking it should be the block editor?
Oh, no. I thought I remembered it. The word going out of somebody stamping their foot. And I kept waiting for the introduction of similar to capital P, dang it. I kept waiting for somebody to introduce a function called it's block editor, dang it, or some other thing. So but Gutenberg, I still call it Gutenberg. In fact, I have I use text expander, and if I type GUT and hit tab, it expands to Gutenberg because I talk about it.
Well rescued. I like it. I use it for absolutely everything now. I've got to say that I wasn't a big fan of the site editor, but I've kind of now got to the point where all of the problems are now muscle memory. I've figured out my way around most of the problems that I was having, and I've been playing with it actually a lot over the weekend. And every obstacle that I thought I would face, I faced. But every obstacle I could work my way around. Largely, it's to do with like menus, really, navigation. But I've managed to sort of figure out it for my use anyway. So I'm pretty optimistic about it, and I love the whole templating system inside there. It's just great to see what's going on. Anybody else before I move on? Okay.
One thing is what I really like is that it's an 8-year project now, Gutenberg, and 4 years ago they were at 100 release. Now 4 years later we're at number 200. That means it's super steady. and
Yeah.
that's quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
4 years, we'll be back here talking about 300.
Yeah.
Are we making a plan?
I'd say
Yeah, that's
so.
it. Okay, so if we
Yeah.
come back this date in the year 20, what is that? I can't do the math.
29?
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad you're here. Then yes, we will, unless something has superseded it by then. I'm really happy with it. It fulfills all of my needs. I am basically a text editor in the block editor most of the time. I'm writing text and paragraphs, and that's more or less it. Which is why I think the full site editing piece was such an obstacle for me. And honestly, I still think it must be very jarring for a brand new user to WordPress to figure out, where is everything? How do I actually see the front end of my site? How do I get back to the regular old admin without two clicks instead of one?
This is my big frustration. Especially because I generally am building for clients, and so I don't bother.
Do you still stick with like the old, like a classic theme, for example, or do you?
No, for me, an early point of frustration, I'll be brief, was the fact that with the tiny MCE, the one box, you had no idea what it was going to end up actually looking like, and that was supposed to be, to me, in my understanding, that was one of the early things that Gutenberg was supposed to resolve. And to me, you're still typing in a nicer layout with lots more options, but it still doesn't look like what it might or might not look like once it's actually loaded on the homepage, predictably and easily, as opposed to, no page editor is perfect, but I doubled down on Beaver Builder. That's the one that I still use. And love the fact that it actually looks like what it's going to look like as you're building it. And that for clients is crucial, because most of my support tickets, meaning them messaging me in Slack, was it doesn't look like, why is it black over here and now it's blue, or why is it big over here and now it's small, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was talking to Tammy Lister this week, and she's in the comments. I'd forgotten that. Yeah, she knows that, and she was saying that. Forgive me, Tammy, if I'm putting words into your mouth, but she sees the whole engine of Gutenberg, for theming at least anyway, as kind of the point. It's like a tool that other people can build on top of, and that might be with the block editor, or it might be with other page builders that are in the future. There's a new one coming out called Block Era, which is building on top of core blocks. So they'll be expanding what core blocks can do. It looks really exciting. And so the Gutenberg thing, the whole site editor, Gutenberg editor, is about laying the foundations that other people can build on top of. It was never intended to be what you see is what you get editor. But I think we all thought that's what it was. And so we all got a bit ticked off when it didn't look like what it did on the back.
That was the part that had me excited, was this describing content in just objects, JSON, and so you could then, in theory, do exactly what you just said, reinterpret it. One page builder wouldn't undermine another if the data was the same and was reliable, and I'd love that to still be more of the norm.
Yeah. Actually, this project is out, I think, on WordPress.org now. It's definitely worth a look. It's called Block Era, but I would probably pronounce it as Blockera, but it's Blockera. And the UVP for that one is that every block that looks like it's one of their blocks is actually just an extension of a core block. So they've added things like grid and flex and breakpoints to all the core blocks, and it looks really interesting. Whether or not they'll make a niche for themselves and be successful with it, I don't know, but it's definitely worth a look. I did mention it on a previous show, but worth looking at that. Okay, a couple of comments coming in. Matt says more releases doesn't always mean more stability, but hopefully it'll be battle tested with all those installs. And then Taco replied to that, reliable release scheme. It would have been better. And then Michelle Frechette, hello, joining us, and all the tacos, Matt. I love it. Wow, Matt, you look so different in that icon. Is it just me, or does Matt Cromwell not normally look like that? You look
I would say this picture might be from a few years ago.
Oh, okay. I was going to say he's taken on some sort of different approach to life. He's a bit longer
Or
hair.
Germany's definitely changed him.
Yeah, he's gone full hippie. Okay, enough of that. Right, let's move on. So that was Gutenberg 20, version 20. Right, the next thing to mention is a couple of bits about WordPress events. If you are still on the fence, there are tickets still available for this one, as you might expect. WordCamp Europe, you can still grab your tickets. It's happening between the 5th to the 7th of June 2025 in Basel. I think you pronounce that as Basel. It looks like Basel, but I think you pronounce it as Basel, Switzerland. I've been to Switzerland, and I just remember spending mortgageable amounts of money on basic things like a glass of orange juice. And so I don't know what that's going to be like as an experience for all us WordPressers. Be interesting to see if anybody can afford to do the social stuff in the evening. But tickets are available. And also, tickets.
One of the good things, though, Nathan, and that's worth mentioning, is that the WordCamp Europe organizing team arranged for everyone who stays at an official place, like a hotel or anywhere where you pay tourist taxes, basically. They will get a free transportation card so that you can move around the city for free.
Great. That is good.
So that's helpful. That saves some, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
That you can then spend on orange juice.
Yeah. Well, you can get like a tenth of an orange juice or something like that. It would be interesting to see. But also, I can't find the tab for it now, but it was... Oh, here we go. This was to say that WordCamp Asia tickets, I know this article that we're looking at isn't that, but WordCamp Asia tickets are still available. I don't know, Taco, you pulled up the numbers just before we started, didn't you? How's it looking?
At this moment, we're looking on the website, so people can indicate that they don't want to be on the website. So probably it's slightly more, but right now there's 1,200 people registered on the website. So that's a decent amount for a flagship WordCamp.
Yeah, I think last time in Taipei, I think it was around about the 1,500 mark. But nevertheless, if you are in that neck of the woods or you suddenly realize that you're available, it's in Manila. And the dates are written on the screen here. It is it's next month. It's in a more or less, well, it is exactly a month from today.
Now.
Yeah. February 20th to the 22nd in Manila. And this piece, which is coming from WP Content, is about 4 people. I was going to say 4 lucky people, but that's entirely the wrong phrasing. 4 people who have, through their previous endeavors and what have you, justified themselves as recipients of some scholarships. So there's 2 scholarships in question, both scholarships giving out 2 awards. The first one we've mentioned loads of times. It's the Kim Parcell Scholarship. And I'll just quote, the scholarship supports women who are active in the WordPress project, have never attended a WordCamp Asia, and require financial assistance to take part. The recipient of this scholarship this year is, and I do apologize to both of these people, Zeel Thakkar, who is from India, and Pooja Darashri, who I believe is also from India as well. So they're the recipients of that. So bravo. And then there's another one called the Diversity Scholarship Award. And this scholarship is aimed at attendees who have never attended a WordCamp before and require financial support. It focuses on individuals from underrepresented demography who will use their experience to support their local communities in Asia. And recipients of that are Makarand G. Main and Asta Jain. Again, sincere apologies if I've got your names wrong, but round of applause for you 4 people. Bravo. Hopefully you'll be seeing the likes of Taco there. Taco, you're going. I don't know if the other 2 are going or not.
Yeah, I'll be leading a panel at WordCamp Asia.
Nice.
So,
what's the panel about?
AI.
Oh, nice.
And we'll have a couple of very knowledgeable people speaking on the panel.
Yeah. Oh, it's just such an interesting subject. It never gets old, that one. Anyway, bravo, and tickets, like I said, are still available. Does anybody want to comment on that one before I move on?
I would say if you can find an excuse to go, probably meeting the community is more important now than ever before. Let's make sure that we have a lot of like-minded people in the same room, all go to the contributor day, and work on WordPress together.
Nice. Yep. Contributor Day. I don't actually know when the Contributor Day is. Usually it's, I think in Asia last time it was the day after, but I can't remember. It'll be one of the days either before or after. And yeah. Just a bit of an aside, and I think we'll go into this because I like it. Atif, thank you for this comment. It's interesting. Atif makes the point. He said, so this is going back to the block editor thing from a minute ago. What does success mean for Gutenberg or the block editor, as it still ranks very low compared to most other builders or tools? Anybody want to take that on? If not, I'll offer an opinion. But if anybody wants to go with that, what does success look like?
I think success would be actual adoption by the majority of people, right? It was meant to. There was a time where, yes, everybody had infinite number of themes, but you were editing your content using Tiny MCE, the built-in editor. And it seems like that's no longer true. That themes, page builders, various other tech have taken that focus away from that which is built into WordPress. So I would call success the readoption by the majority of sites using that which is built in.
It's kind of interesting because, sorry, Nicky, you carry on. I apologize.
No, I was just going to say it's really surprising to me that it's ranked so low compared to other builders tools, because every job that we post, we want experience in Gutenberg. It's a great foundation to build on. People use it. I don't know why they don't rank it. I think a lot of people just get so used to using something, they forget that they still need to plug it, because if you don't go rate the tools that you love, they're going to be low compared to others, and it just becomes a thing that it's always there, so it's kind of faded into the background, I think.
I have a couple of thoughts on that, Nicky. The first one is that I don't know if you kept your eye on it, but obviously doing this show, I did. When the Gutenberg editor came around, there was just this mass flurry of 1-star reviews, like literally thousands, and it became almost a bit of a comedy that it was getting so many 1-star reviews. So I wonder if that has ever been undone. You know what I mean? Like the thousands and thousands of 1-star reviews are going to be there forever, and it's going to be very difficult for it to sort of go up that way. And the other thing, to address Corey's point, is I could be wrong about this. Does WordPress.org offer any telemetry? Is there anything which phones back home to say to anybody, and I don't think there is, this is what this website is using? So, there isn't, is there? Where, or is there?
If you go to the Gutenberg plugin, almost the vast majority, at a glance, the majority of recent comments, recent ratings are still 1-star.
Interesting. Yeah.
So okay. I wouldn't attribute it to we're trying to overcome a wave of bad reviews at the beginning. I think a lot of people are still not satisfied with it.
Yeah, interesting.
Or never went back to change their rating.
That's what I was thinking.
And
but
people
maybe I was being slightly
usually
optimistic.
People don't usually rate reviews when they're happy. They write them when they're mad.
That's a good point.
And being a built-in project, I mean, I and other developers will solicit ratings, and we're not going to solicit good ratings because that gets you banned, but we will solicit ratings. And so, presumably, if this being a team effort and a built-in thing, there's no solicitation of ratings. And so you're absolutely right. Like there's no, if you love this, please go rate us kind of prompt.
My feelings are that for the site-wide editing, I'm still breaking ground on that, and like I said, I'm still getting to the point where I'm familiar with the UI. It's not as frustrating as it used to be, so I'm kind of just getting over that, and I'm slowly moving everything out of classic themes into block-based themes. But I am using third-party plugins in order to overcome some problems which Core doesn't wish to solve, particularly around like navigation and menus and things like that. But for writing, I think it's blooming marvelous. I think it's absolutely great as a way to create written image-based content in a blog format, where it's start at the top, read to the bottom. I think it's absolutely brilliant. The ability to move up and down content, the ability to drop in blocks, like in my case, newsletter glue, which transforms the block editor into a full-on kind of MailChimp equivalent. It's brilliant. And I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get to that point where you started liking it?
Yeah, a while. Yeah. I stuck to the classic editor. In fact, I disabled Gutenberg for at least 9 months when it first came out.
Yeah, and I think that Nicky said that or alluded to that earlier, is that we are not the average user.
Yeah, good point.
I will not ask my wife to just struggle for 9 months and then you'll learn to love it when it comes to building her website.
I can ask her for you if you like.
Well, you can, for sure. And I would love for you to video her response. Because, I mean, but that's the reality. If your competition is that easy to use WYSIWYG editor that's actually reliable in backend looks like front end, then the block editor and especially full site editing isn't there yet.
You're absolutely right. Look, I was saying that I was fiddling a lot this weekend. I really put in quite a lot of hours, and there were moments where I shot the laptop in what could only be described as something bordering frustration. Went and did something else, and then just last night at about 10:30 at night, I suddenly had a moment of, wait, I know what to do, and then whipped the laptop out again, and at 10:30 began again. No, aka normal people are going to have that level of commitment to it.
They're going to contact me, the web guy.
That's right.
The web guy on the team,
and so you can get frustrated by
it. This is a nightmare. Make it easier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting point. So, in answer to Atif's question, what does success mean? And if adoption is the criteria, who knows whether we'll get that adoption? But if lack of frustration is the criteria, it would seem that maybe we haven't crossed that bridge quite yet.
I mean, the same could be said for much of the WordPress admin.
Yeah,
for clients, I spend probably half my effort making the admin, I won't say not look like the WordPress admin, because I don't, there's a way to take it too far, but hiding every conceivable menu item that as much to protect clients from themselves, but also to make the flow as easy as possible and to limit that frustration you're talking about.
Thankfully, Taco has given us the link for the project itself. If you want to go and look at it, here it is. It's
some
WordPress.
of these reviews are very funny.
Are they? Okay, well, we won't look at that. Yeah, look at that though. That is not a great look, is it? Oh, there.
Well, and click on that see all. That was kind of, because your point is a really good one. Like, time plays a part in this.
Oh gosh.
And so,
Yeah, it is. You're right. If we have a very brief, quick flick through, it's not doing so well, is it? Oh dear. Oh well. I shall be nice anyway, because I've been chatting with Mark Westgard.
If you look at them, a lot of them are clearly written in that moment of frustration where somebody is stuck and they go and they're like, no, this is a crime against humanity. Like that's somebody in the thick of it right then going, I just have to say something, get it out of my head.
Can we organize them by date? Because I mean, I've got 1 week is the most recent one. Then it tops to a month. And then by the end of this page, we're on to 8 months ago. So, what is that? 20 comments on there, 30 comments, something like that?
You know that they love grouping information on everything on WordPress.org. How many installs does it have? 10,000? How many thousands?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So it feels a little like that too, where I'm sure they have the data.
Well, I am a very happy user of it, and I've definitely now crossed a bit of a Rubicon. Oh good to get that out. I've definitely crossed the Rubicon this week, and I think now classic themes are probably in the past for me. So that's kind of interesting. Okay.
Actually, I use Gutenberg or the full site editing as well on the sites that I built, which is not a whole lot.
What was the sorry? What was the biggest frustration for you? Because I know there was one. It's just inevitable.
Well, breakpoints.
Okay. Yeah.
How do I make this look good on a telephone, on a phone, on a tablet, on a small screen, on a big screen, and just to plug a company and a product where I have no affiliation whatsoever. I really, really, really love the Grade Suite.
Yep.
They solve some of those problems and make that a whole lot easier to do in Gutenberg.
Taco, can I just point out that you very nearly said the word telephone, a word that I have not heard in about a decade. Has anybody used that word recently?
I'm that old.
Telephone? It's like mobile or phone. That was no. I just thought he was going to say telephone. Okay, so joining us is Courtney. She's saying hello from the USA. She's a bit late. Doesn't matter. Morning, everybody. Says James. Patricia talking about the WordCamp Asia, WordCamp Europe thing. It's not been arranged by us. This is the transportation thing. It's by the city all the time. You can go anywhere you like in the city. Free transport and discount bike rental, museum visits, etc. Oh, nice. And it's been truncated, but it says to all who pay a hotel or apartment city tax. So that's cool. You can travel anywhere you like in the city and also use those bike things and all sorts of other features as well. Like Courtney, I'm late to the show this morning, says Cami. We forgive you, Cami. It's fine.
It is a holiday, so I think a lot of people are getting up a
that's
little late.
Fine. Yeah, no worries. And apparently it's the Basel Tourism Office or Basel. I don't know how you say that. And in response to Taco saying clever people at WordCamp Asia, Michelle is on the same panel. She's on the AI panel as well.
Yes.
Is she? Nice.
Is that how you pronounce a capital P, Nathan?
I'm not going to say that. Dang it! What did I do wrong? What did I say? I don't get it.
No. You were.
Oh, I see. Oh,
so I just assumed you were emphasizing that was a capital.
That's a habit that I have when I'm cycling things through in my head. I sort of go.
For us Americans, we just mumble everything, so it's WordPress. Yeah, there's barely a P in there at all.
Okay, yeah, there's a definite difference in the way that you pronounce some words, and maybe that's one of them. Bet Hannon, are we talking about Gutenberg the plugin? We were not really. I think we probably were talking about Gutenberg the plugin, but then we got into full site editing and stuff as well. Gosh, the comments are coming in thick and fast. Matt Cromwell, I like Nicky's perspective. Sometimes the WP inside baseball community is out of touch with the common user or broader WP market. I have no idea what that phrase inside baseball means.
Insider baseball is the phrase, where it's basically a bunch of people standing around talking deeply about some topic that most people, your average person, doesn't know much about. So all of us sitting around talking deeply about WordPress, where your average user is like doesn't know what Gutenberg is or care about the politics behind it or any of this stuff. They either like it or they don't, kind of.
See, that's my shtick here. I'm the average user, so I can bring you guys back down to earth.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's what we need.
And it's so true this is something I struggle with across almost everything that I do, podcasts and the work I do and marketing and all that, is I am very much inside the WordPress bubble. And so it's hard to get out. How do you talk to people where WordPress is just a tool? It's to them, it's the same as Excel or any other piece of software. And so either it's good or it's bad, it's friendly or it's not, that kind of thing.
I think that's one of the best and worst things about WordPress is the community, because it's such a wonderful community of people that come together and help each other. But getting into that is like a huge curve. But once you're in, it's good.
It's one of the biggest. Sorry, one more quick thing. Like one of the the community is what brought me in a decade ago. And it's interesting. I went to a meetup an hour away here in New Hampshire a few months ago, and it tends to be a small one. There's only about 6 people in New Hampshire, so but we actually had the only unfamiliar face that showed up at the meetup had driven 4 hours from Rhode Island to get help with her WordPress site because she couldn't find it. She couldn't find local people. She couldn't find help online, but she found this meetup. And so God took a day off from work and drove all the way to the meetup. And so very kindly, the folks who organized the meetup devoted the meetup to helping her with her website.
Gosh.
But yeah, it was the perfect example to me of, it's not easy. It's not always easy to find the answers you need.
No kidding. That's full on, isn't it? What a drive. Wow, incredible. Perhaps Elliot Richmond said, we need more Gutenberg user tutorials. Elliot, if only there was somebody online who would make YouTube videos. Who could that be? Thank you for doing all of that hard work, Elliot. But could end up being a moving target. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Like if you're making content in the Gutenberg space, it must be fairly crazy making because the UI gets upended. Well, we've just shown in Gutenberg 20 a variety of new things that have been added, features that have been added. And so it must make it incredibly difficult. Gosh, I'm struggling to keep up with the comments. Driving 4 hours in London would leave me still in London. Yeah, I suppose it depends which way you go. Nomad Skateboarding, hello. We're in a bubble actively fighting against Core. There are many people who are thrilled with Gutenberg and Core, including clients. And what else have we got? I'm going to put it up there.
Fair, I mean, I do think that there's a huge difference between using the blocks to write a blog post and full site editing. I mean,
yes, yeah.
I used my wife as an example before. She will write her content in the block editor. That's fine. That completely works, and that's easy enough. But I would not ask her to create a new page and do the whole layout for a new page.
Got it.
Because,
yeah,
well, it'd be my job within 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think you're right. I think as a writing experience, it's phenomenal. Kind of interestingly, I've noticed a lot of SaaS has now adopted and I don't think WordPress was the first place to do it, but it was the first place I saw it, where this whole begin a new line with / and you get the option to drop in whatever you want. Almost everything does that now, and I'm sure, like I said, it wasn't WordPress. WordPress jumped on that bandwagon, but that is now like what I expect in more or less any tool. If I'm in a brand new section, row, whatever it might be, if I hit / I'm expecting the option to drop in whatever it may be. So I like
old
it.
IRC experience from 20 so many years ago.
I'd never used IRC. Is that how it worked over there?
Yeah.
Okay. So
now I feel old. Thanks for that. Thanks for bringing up IRC.
Oh, you're among friends.
Yeah, there's a whole other episode in there, no doubt. Right. Okay. Let's quickly move on. So that was WordCamps. Actually, no, I'll just mention this. And I'll be very careful about the way that I pronounce it because I need to. We in London, speaking of London, we have WPLDN. And in January 2025, if you fancy attending that, it's happening on January 25th. January 25th, 2025. Too many 25s there. We're doing a double kind of
30th, Nathan.
Say again.
It says the 30th of January.
Yeah, and it is the 30th of January. I don't know why I'm saying the 20. Yeah, something's wrong here. I'm pretty sure. In fact, let me just quickly look on my calendar. Actually, I won't bother. I'll fix it. It'll be correct. But if you fancy coming, it's the last Thursday of the month. So if we've made an error with the thing there, then you can fix that in your own calendar. But we're doing a double sort of social event, if you like. We're doing a panel discussion, and then we're doing this thing called Lean Coffee, which is new to me. I've never done a Lean Coffee event, to the point where I can't really even tell you what that means, but apparently it's a thing. And if you fancy attending, head to the links in the show notes or Google WPLDN, and you'll be able to join that event. And if you have got an intuition that you'd like to speak at such an event, then DM me or whatever, that might be quite nice, and we'll see if we can get you lined up for that event. So yeah, let me see if I can find the correct date for that
if
quickly.
they can't make it to London on the 30th of
It
January.
is the 30th. It's the 30th.
Yeah.
So this
They
is right.
can also come to Nijmegen, where Joost de Valk will be speaking at the WordPress meetup.
At
So
the
if
same
that's
time?
closer to you, an hour or two later. But
Oh, nice. Yeah, we could do like tag team. You throw a tennis ball over the over the North Sea. Do you call it the North Sea? That sea which separates you? You call it the North Sea? Okay, that's good. Yeah, we can agree on some things. IRC was the best, apparently. MIR. Oh, is that? Are we talking about?
That's
the
a client
baseball
baseball
game there. Yeah, that's another client for it. Okay, great. Okay, I just want a bit of self promotion, but I just want to highlight that I did a podcast episode with David Dark, who runs an agency in the UK called Atomic Smash. And if like David, you have ever been through the highs and the lows of growing an agency from you and your mate to 20 staff, and you want David's intuitions as to the ways to do that, then go and check it out. It's really interesting. He was really, really, how to describe it, very humble and willing to share his successes, but mostly willing to share the things that he thought he could have improved. And it was quite a nice chat. So that was episode number 152. Now, if you happen to be attending, now which WordCamp is it? It's the WordCamp Europe one.
yes.
Right? There is an event happening at the same time. Now, you put this in the show notes. Was it you, Taco? Did you?
Yes,
put that one?
I did.
Yeah. What is this then? Is it like a rival event happening at the same time, or is it just like an alternative? What's going on?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, it's at an odd hour after the official sessions for WordCamp Europe have finished, and typically before all the social events really kick off. So it's that in-between time where they have a sort of mini conference. I'm not sure who's behind it or how big it will be, but given that we'll probably have about 3,000 people in Basel, I can imagine that this might turn out to be a success.
So the website is alt control. I'm going to presume it's altcontrol.org is how you're going to say it. So it's altctrl.org, and it says join us on Friday. So it's just this 1 3-hour session, Friday evening from 6 to 9. Alternative talks on WordPress that you probably won't hear at WordCamp, and the website URL is altcontrol.org. And I don't know whether it mentioned food is served, party or two. You can attend your usual conference, then come down. So if that hits the mark for you, if you fancy going to WordCamp and then carrying it on, then go check that out. Anybody else got anything?
You need to eat somewhere, so you might as well go here.
Yeah. Gosh. Imagine if everybody showed up and ate.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there's a backlash.
Oh, go on.
The history of people trying to do alt events or events in and around WordPress, WordCamps that aren't officially sanctioned. And especially it feels a little finger poking of talks you won't hear and all that. So
I don't know anything. Seriously, what tell me about the bit that you just said, alternative events in the past. Have there been, and were they sort of, were they not, did they not go down?
Like, I remember, I don't know the details, so I'll broad strokes here, but like I know that Brian Krogsgaard did a post status day around the day before one of the big WordCamp US's in Boston, maybe. And I remember there was drama around it. And then I know that other people who have tried to organize events before, after, during, whatnot, were faced things, had words spoken to them or at them or about them and that kind of thing. So I'm curious if that won't in
okay.
light of the things that are going on now.
Got
which
it. I
is
see.
kind of
yeah. Okay, I
blown
see
up,
what you mean now. So if we look,
That's actually why I think that they are being really smart, because this time slot is not competing with any of the official WordCamp Europe events. So there's no competition. It's just, hey, if you want to grab food and hear other talks, then come to us.
And
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I also think it's that maybe there's a reason you don't know who's behind it.
Fair. There's a button that says learn more about us. So maybe I should have just clicked that.
Yeah.
But-
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. And I didn't know about the previous dramas about like the post status event and so on. But yeah, okay. So there it is. Altcontrol.org. And if you're going and you wish to, from 6 o'clock on the Friday to 9 o'clock.
Okay, there are people listed.
Yeah, and obviously we'll see if if anything develops on that story in the days and weeks.
And obviously, I hope, to be clear, like I hope not. Like I'm not. I don't want to hear juicy gossip or anything like that. Like all this stuff should coexist, and so it's been rather unfortunate that I know that there's been stuff in the past. So
yeah, indeed. On the independent page, you can see who's behind this.
Right.
Oh, okay. So here we go. There's some names there. Okay. I clicked on this link at the top, the second link along the independent link, so you can check that out if you want. Okay. I just put a comment up. Yeah, Patricia was saying that looks like the 30th of January is the date to run a WordPress style event. London, Nijmegen, and it turns out Geneva are also running events at the same time. Looks like Geneva is starting with blocks and block themes at beginner level. So there you go. That's something that you could attend. Right. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Occasionally something in the WordPress space comes along, which is just so sort of profoundly, how to describe it? It moves the needle a lot. And I think it's fair to say Elementor in the day was one of those things. Like the adoption of Elementor for many, many years was just really, really moving the needle for WordPress. In fact, I think if you took Elementor out of the WordPress growth statistics for the last, let's say, 10 years, it would be a very different picture. I think Elementor has accounted for a significant amount. Now, whether or not you're using it or not, I don't know. But they decided to launch this event, which took place last week, and it's called Web Forward. And I don't know if that's the URL, web.fwrd. I don't know if that's a top-level domain or not. But I didn't attend the event, but I watched a bit of this recap video where it's 43 minutes long, and they essentially put their entire online event into YouTube. And I just got to say, like, you guys, Elementor, just a massive hat tip from me. That thing was really professionally done, like super slick. I have no idea what the budget is for these kind of things, but just a bit of a bravo from me for just taking something that you could have done like this in a Zoom call. You could have done something like that, but no, you dug deep, you spent the money, you spent the time, you got everybody well trained, you hired a studio, the lighting and the videography is just excellent. So just well done from me for all of that. So I scanned through it, and it just, this is going to sound ridiculous because it doesn't, but it had that Apple kind of quality to it. There was something of the Apple in it, the way that they'd put it together. And I don't know, everybody coached, making sure that they were on point and doing the right thing at the right time. It was really good. So hat tip from me, really. Bravo. That's all I've got there. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on that, but that was pretty amazing. Okie doke.
It's nice to see them succeed and do awesome stuff. And some of the things that they introduced, like the new version of their builder, actually looks promising.
Can you tell me about that? Because unfortunately, time for me this week was a scarce commodity. So was there anything that you recalled from their new, is it just like a total overhaul of the UI, or is it
pretty
just
much?
Wow.
Not necessarily the UI, but a lot of the logic behind it. And yes, it comes with UI changes. that will make it easier for people to build with Elementor.
Gosh, so big things going on.
Yeah.
I always think because Elementor was just in the news every week, relentlessly doing stuff, because it's kind of not anymore. It always feels to me like it's a dwindling thing. It is not a dwindling thing. It's so not.
It's anything but.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. Back in the day, they weren't GPL and they weren't attending. They were attending, but not as sponsors in person events. And now they always do the big booth at the big events and all that kind of stuff. And just great, just really an amazing story. Okay, another story in the WordPress, unless Nicky or Corey had anything to add to that. No, okay.
Yep.
All righty. Normally, we cover acquisitions, and normally it's like a big SaaS-y sort of company. Sassy? That doesn't sound good. SaaS kind of company. Oh, no. Okay, somebody write that down. That's going to be the name of this episode. A SaaS company buying like a WordPress plugin, or a big WordPress plugin company buying another one. You don't normally find it the other way around, i.e. a company basically in the WordPress space going out and buying a SaaS company. But that's what happened this week, which is curious. Group One, and I'm imagining that most people have never heard of the company Group One, but I bet you've heard of one of their biggest things, which is WP Rocket. So Group One is obviously, the bigger company behind various products, and WP Rocket is their flagship WordPress product. They have only gone and bought GT Metrics, which in my head, I've got that as like the tool that everybody wants to be equal to. That if you want to measure your WordPress, any sort of property online, GT Metrics is kind of the one that is the benchmark against. Anyway, they've bought it, and so now it's owned by Group One, sort of WordPressy company. But what a neat match that is. Mm-hmm. WP Rocket, a website metrics tool. Just perfect. So bravo.
And imagine what they can do having WP Rocket and this SEO plugin I'm not the biggest fan of, but Rank Math, and then GT Metrics, because the data that they will get about websites through GT Metrics, if they use that well in their other products and also in their hosting products, that's going to be a game changer.
What's their hosting product? I've not heard.
One.com, Dogado, HostNet,
There's a ton of them. Okay.
There's quite a few.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big group.
Yeah. But you're right. The telemetry that they'll get out of GT Metrics, as I imagine that is phoning home, and I imagine every time you do some sort of thing with GT Metrics, that's the deal. You get the stuff out of it in exchange for the data and the telemetry and all of that. Yeah, I imagine it will give them a lot of valuable intel. Yeah, yep. Interesting. So bravo. Well done.
I'm hoping that so GT Metrics was the kind of the go-to for a long time, and then my recollection is, I don't know, a few years ago they made it slightly less easy to just go plug in a URL and get all the data for free without, I don't know that, I mean, there was always a paid portion of it, but they started asking more for accounts and things like that. And so I'm hoping that it goes back to being plug in your URL and here's absolutely all the data, enjoy it. And use it just as a lead magnet.
You can well imagine that WP Rocket subscribers will certainly be part of that tier of, there's got to be something for them, right? You just plug in your URL and here's all the data that you could possibly want in your WordPress backend. Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Really neat.
But even to prove that their WP Rocket product is actually working, because you can now do a before and after. And there's a lot of cross-pollination that you can do in the suite of brands and products that they have within Group One. So
I know that there's a lot of credible offerings in the WordPress performance space and caching, and there's just loads. And I'm not trying to put one thing over another, but I have a lot of friends who are very happy WP Rocket subscribers, and they think it's the business. They're really content with it and what have you. does even the mere dangling carrot of something like GT metrics in the back end of your WordPress website for free or for a small amount of money, does that give you a bit more confidence? Yeah, I think it would me. I think I'd be thinking, this is great. This is where I want my future spend in this regard to go. Yeah.
I'm mostly hoping that they'll put it to good use to improve WP Rocket even further.
Okay.
Yeah.
You both put your hand up. Taco, Corey, you're both Rocket subscribers, are you? Okay.
I'm
or
not.
users.
I did not.
No. Okay. Sorry. I thought you did.
Your glasses have a smudge on them or something.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, in the shape of a hand. That's kind of that's weird. Right. Okay. Nicky, anything on that, or should we crack on? Alrighty. Okay. This. Where's it gone? Oh, Bob Dunn. Very dear friend of mine, Mr. Bob Dunn, you might call him. He has now been doing Do the Woo for, count them, 7 whole years. Now, Bob's podcasting endeavors stretch way back beyond then, but Do the Woo itself has been instantiated now for 7 years. And he hopped on a call this week with a bunch of people that you can see right there. I won't name them all one at a time. But he was celebrating 7 years. So I just want to bring this video to your attention. If you Google Do the Woo celebrating 7 years, maybe you'll get to dothewoo.com, but no doubt the video will be embedded there. And as somebody who knows how fun it can be at times, keeping going, keep on keeping on for that length of time. Well done, Bob. And hearty congratulations from all over here to you and your co-hosts. And the shows just seem to, multiply. So every week there's a new show on the Do the Woo network. So congratulations, Bob. Anybody, or shall I just move on?
I think one of the coolest things is that we actually see Do the Woo as a sponsor to WordCamp and WordPress events. And I think he's the only podcast actually sponsoring events. So that's pretty special. And
yeah, it's pretty I remember when he said that to me. So I'm a podcaster, I don't sponsor events, and he said, I'm thinking of sponsoring WordCamp Asia. And I remember actually thinking, why? What are you thinking? And he has got so much out of that. He's now done 2, 3, this will be his 3rd WordCamp Asia, and he's done WordCamp US, and he's done a few local ones, and he's done WordCamp Europe. And he has a booth, and he just hangs out and chats with people, and he meets everybody. I sat in his booth and tried to ruin it in Torino last year. It was actually quite entertaining, and it was fascinating, the amount of people that dropped by just wanting to hang out with Bob. Very cool. Very, very cool. And he
is a celebrity. I know he doesn't want to hear it, but it's definitely true.
Yeah, he's great, and he has he's got the lowest voice in the world. Okay, Bob is the OG. What does OG mean?
The original.
There's a few interpretations.
Is it original? Is that all it means? Just original? Okay.
Original gangster.
Original what? Gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was the OG of ... was, I think, originally like a.
Okay.
At least I always heard it in the context of like in LA, like
got it.
People talking about, he was from back in the day.
But when you see like things like that, and all the youths are using, look at me, 50-year-old man, and you kind of interpret that it probably means original, but you're never quite sure. It's like I still never entirely sure what LOL means. I always think it means lots of love.
Lots of love.
Yeah, is that what it? No, it's not that, right? It's laugh out loud. But
no, that was the joke. That like there's those great threads that went around for a while that were real or imagined or fake, but text conversations, and somebody's mom messaging them and saying, I'm so sorry to tell you that your uncle died, LOL. Because she thought that it meant lots of love.
Oh gosh, that's yeah. Gosh. Anyway, OG apparently means the original gangster. Yeah, Bet's got the skinny on that. See, I used the word skinny.
I like Friendly Web Guy's response too.
Uh,
OG meaning Open Graph.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is. That's what it means. Open graph.
My daughter's school actually sent home a paper with all of the different abbreviations and weird words that they might use over like the course of the year. She's in 7th grade, and one of the words was thick.
Hang
with
on,
two
wait.
C's.
No, don't tell us. Let's see if we can figure it out. What was it? Stick.
No, thick with
Thick
2
as
C's.
in wide, something that's wide.
Yes, thick.
Okay. I mean, to me, that just means something that's wide. I can't think of another. Okay.
It's usually attributed to a full-figured person with a great butt is usually thick. So with 2 C's, but on the paper they put it's just an attractive person. So my daughter walks up to me and goes, "Mom, you're looking thick today." And I was like, "No, I'm not."
That's cool, though, that they've made the effort to kind of re-educate you into the language that your kids are using. My kids sit at the
Except we
dining
know it more
table.
than they do.
Yeah. Well, my kids sit at the dining table, and very, like, I don't know, once every 3 months, a word will exit their mouths, and I'm like, wait, what the heck? What does that? It's, sometimes it's a reused English word, which is obviously got a different spin on it, but occasionally it's a new word that I've never heard before, and we, play this stupid game where I try to guess, and invariably I get it wrong. But
Yeah. Now imagine that, and then that your kids are Dutch, which means that at the age of 4 and 8, like mine are, they have very limited knowledge of English, but they hear an English term and will completely butcher it in Dutch and then use it full confidence as they heard it. And then for me to figure out what the heck they're meaning.
Yeah, nice. It's going through all the loops. Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. So the original, I think we've got that it's the original, the gangster, whatever it might mean. Okay, so this has sprouted a lot of comments. This is what the Google and Urban Dictionary are for, Nathan. Okay, I didn't know they existed. Well, Google I did. I heard of that. The Urban Dictionary, never heard of. Original Gutenberger, I like it. Atif, that's very clever. Brandon, who, by the way, just slightly earlier said he's joining us from China. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us all the way over there. Must be late. And also Cameron joining us, who I presume is in Australia. Again, must be like stupid o'clock in the morning. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to this. As a non-English speaker, now I need to Google what original gangster means. Oh, okay. So, that didn't help. Defining that it meant original gangster merely added to the confusion. And apparently, Courtney says the youths these days would say that Bob's the alpha. Okay. Alpha to me is fairly... when I think of alpha, my head immediately jumps to alpha male, which is not necessarily a great connotation, but hopefully
there's
it's
a whole
lost.
other subculture around alpha too.
Oh, okay. Anyway, does Bob classic? Can we say that about Bob? Is Bob the alpha?
I don't think. Moving on.
Okay. All right. Courtney, we'll check back on that later. Here, nice. Bob made the WordPress community happen for me. I first attended a presentation from him in 2013 in a library in Seattle. Nice.
That's
so
fantastic.
Cool. Oh, and there's the spelling of it. From Stephanie Hudson. Oh,
Yeah,
2 C's.
That is it. Yes, 2 C's.
Oh, when you said 2 C's, I thought it was THICCK, but it's like that. Okay. Note to self, says Friendly Web Guy, 11-year-old's fave is yeet. My kids say that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they throw something in a sort of fairly haphazard way, so it's not like throwing something accurately. If you just yeet it, then you just launch it into the sky. And so here's Bob's the goat.
Exactly.
The greatest of all time. That one I know.
Yeah.
I know that one. Goat is the best, says Courtney. Wow, who knew that was going to happen, that conversation?
So in our private chat, Nathan, I dropped a link for you to visit once a day.
Okay.
and once a day only.
Proceed with caution in there.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Saying that up front.
Okay.
An
There are no
SFW.
boundaries in the Urban Dictionary.
Okay, so if I put the Urban Dictionary on a different monitor, I'll tell you what I get. No, I'm not doing that one. Okay, let's try.
Exactly, that warning was fair.
No, I'm not doing that one either. The second one is really horrible. Okay,
And
no,
a lot of
the
and
third one.
some of it's not true. Or some
Okay.
of it's, because people can enter their own, and some
Yeah.
of it's not verified, and some of it's extremely regional, and all
Yeah.
that kind of
Okay,
stuff.
so
And
I'm-
things
don't
change
just
meaning
don't
too.
just adopt whatever you see. Sorry,
Okay,
Nicky.
yeah. Well, I'm not going to
Yeah.
adopt that one. I can't think of any context in which I'd use whatever that word means. So that's now the third one, and all of them have been very heavily sexualized. Okay, SM,
Well-
small. We can use that one. There you go. But that's
It's
a
a
bit,
break point.
yeah. And then it's gone to drugs. Okay, I'm never opening that website again, Taco.
I tried to warn you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, anyway, do the woo. 7 years, and who knew, Bob, that you were going to spark that conversation? I bet you didn't. What about Leng? Oh no, we got anybody. Can anybody tell me what Leng? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Elliot.
Elliot says something is attractive, excellent, or delicious. It's Leng. This is fantastic.
And isn't that in English? I think that's English slang.
Yeah, but I'm trying to imagine how would you get, because GOAT is obviously an acronym, greatest of all time. Yeet is kind of onomatopoeic, isn't it? It's kind of got that yeet. It sort of does that thing. But Leng, don't know. But I'm going to trust you, Elliot. Maybe he's trying to upend us all, and we're going to go out and use Leng when we find something to be excellent or delicious, and it'll actually be really offensive. And Cami says it's fantastic. So, okay, we'll move on from WordPress and we'll go to the Urban Dictionary podcast
I'm thinking of
next
Pang.
week. Yeah, okay, Pang. Righty-ho, there we go. Where were we? Okay, let's go here.
Slang is indeed UK slang, according to the Urban Dictionary.
What does it mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent.
We know. We just said. Yeah. We just said. Okay. That's a UK one. All right. So here we go. This is time for Taco to mention what he's doing. He's moved.
Yes.
He's no longer with Yoast, although he is with Yoast. Very confusing. He's with Yoast, Joost, the person, not the company. And Progress Planner is the new thing. All the new hotness.
Yes.
And when you attend WordPress events, this will be your hat to wear.
Yes.
Last week we did a terrible job of mentioning it because we were running out of time and it got pushed right to the end. So I thought, let's give it a few minutes more this week. What is Progress Planner, to those of us who don't know? And I understand you've got a little bit of a deal going on at the minute.
Yes.
Is running out soon.
For a few more days. So that's don't be late. But let's super quick introduction. I mean, all of you have websites, at least one, and there's these annoying, tedious tasks that you need to do to keep your website up to date, to keep the content up to date, and all of that. And setting yourself to actually sit down and do that stuff can be hard because there's so much more fun things to do on the internet.
The Urban Dictionary, for example. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you can click the random button all day.
Yeah.
But we figured that there should be a way to make it more fun to actually do those tasks. And that's where we added a lot of gamification to your WordPress dashboard to help you get those tasks done. So by, for example, updating posts or by reviewing a piece of content, by doing the updates on your plugins and themes and language packs, you get points and you can earn badges. Basically, the Duolingo style of gamification.
Yeah.
But then in your WordPress backend, so that it's no longer boring and tedious, but you actually have a goal of achieving something while you're doing the important tasks to keep your website up to date.
Can I ask a question? Because if I was doing this for myself, I presumably would have to come up with the tasks. I'd create a task list and then I'd have to gamify it myself. Does
We
this
do that
ship
for you.
with? Yeah, I was going to say, does it ship with like the tasks that basically we all know need to be done? That's taken care of.
Yes.
Okay.
And a smaller set right now because it's brand new, but we're expanding with every release. We're adding new tasks to the whole list. But you can also keep your own tasks in there. So it's also a little bit of a to-do list that you can mix in as well.
Now, it strikes me that if you're a WordPress professional, you've probably been doing this for a while. And you may well have a SOP for doing all of this and what have you. But I'm presuming there's a pitch here for developers to then push toward their clients. So, if I've got 100 websites, getting all of those updated constantly is kind of it's making my work less likely to, less support tickets maybe because they're keeping things up to date. But it also keeps them engaged with the website. And if they're more engaged with the website, there's a much more bigger chance of throughput of work coming back to me. So maybe that's a part of the jigsaw as well.
Yeah. So, and that's the idea. And that's why one of the key elements is that you get a weekly email that will say, hey, this is how you've done last week. This is the current status of your site. These are the tasks for this week. So every week there's this little reminder to go into your website and get some things done to stop procrastination.
Nice.
The good thing is, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what's the deal?
So Progress Planner has been out since August last year, but we will launch the Pro version this Thursday. So that's the 23rd. And yes, for those who have a perfect timeline in their heads, that's exactly 11 years after we launched Yoast SEO Premium.
Neat.
It's for fun.
Yeah.
The Pro version will come with inline editor courses. So for example, if you're writing your about page, there's quite a few things that are on a good about page. And there's a little mini course in the back end of your WordPress website that will help you write the best possible about page. But the main feature for Pro at this moment is that we're doing challenges, about 6 challenges a year, that will help you focus for a couple of weeks on a slightly larger task that needs regular doing on your website. And the first challenge will be about broken links. And in order to prepare for that challenge, we've looked at a lot of websites, how many broken links there are on the average website. And it's insane.
It's
absolutely insane how many broken links are on the average website. So during this couple of week challenge, we'll guide you through how do I find the broken links, how do I fix them, and how do I move forward to prevent building up a big set of broken links again.
Nice.
So that comes with Pro. Now you asked about the deal. Because we're currently in the pre-launch, we've said the first 99 customers who buy before we officially launch, which is this Thursday.
Okay.
Will get the plugin for $99 a year instead of $149 a year.
Nice.
And that's not a one-time, that's annual.
That's every year.
Yes.
Nice. So if you go here, get Progress Planner, get Pro, then there we go. Obviously in the UK, you're going to be adding that tax, but
yes.
There we go. Yep. Thank you. I hope we did it more justice that time. I appreciate it.
I hope so. And if there's any questions, I'm very happy to talk about it all day. So
yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Well, and you'll be at all those events, and this is what Taco is now 100% laser focused on. So progressplanner.com. If you want to go check that out and see exactly what he's been talking about. Very nice.
Yeah. And don't be late. Don't miss the deal. It's a good one.
So. Yeah, it is a good one. Yeah. Well, thank you. And I know we've got, just quickly moving on, we've got, where is he? Friendly Web Guy. There he is. Open graph comment. Quick hat tip to Administrator Toolkit by Dave. He's got this tool called Administrator Toolkit, and I thought I'd plug it for him this week. So if you've never come across this is a tool to make the sort of the admin area of your website, tidy it up in various different ways. And what he's dropping in version 2.3 of the plugin is a customized plugin list. And it says it allows you to hide one or more plugins. So this is interesting, right? Hide one or more plugins from other admins. So if you've got a client who insists on being an admin, but you don't want them to see a particular plugin just because it's like there's too much danger there, right? You know, what have you? You can do that. You can limit the people who are admins, who in theory have access to everything, which I thought was kind of nice. You can also block repo plugins. So, for example, if you don't want Gutenberg to be visible or bbPress or whatever, you just add them in a list there. And you can set some featured plugins. So if you want a client to see certain things as being kind of featured, then that's an option in there as well. And so there you go. It's called Administrator Toolkit. And if you go to our, as in the our, not your, our wpplugins.com, you'll be able to see that over there. And then finally, we'll make this one of the last ones. I know we're missing a few bits, but Nicky's here today, and she's going to tell us about Stellar Pay, which I had never heard of. So, Nicky, what is Stellar Pay?
So Stellar Pay is actually the first plugin that we've developed in-house under Stellar WP. All of the other plugins have been part of acquisition, so we're super excited to launch this. And we really wanted it to fill where we felt there was a gap in the taking payments part of WooCommerce. So you basically integrate with your Stripe account seamlessly, and you can manage everything, including subscriptions, pretty easily right from your WooCommerce dashboard.
So just to be clear, does it add? So hang on, let me just rewind. You bind your Stripe account inside the Stellar Pay plugin, but then rather than having to go to stripe.com and look for all the telemetry and metrics in there, does this sort of suck them into your WordPress admin? Is it that you can sort of see them in there and take? So, okay. Yeah.
Yep, and there's no charge to manage subscriptions right from it as well. It's a free plugin, so it makes the subscription piece so much easier than it is pre-existing.
And it's designed so it bolts into obviously Stripe, as we've just said, but also it's WooCommerce. It's specifically for store owners with WooCommerce. Yeah, it's not.
Correct.
It's not like you're offering, not like you're a vendor of a plugin solution here. You're just you like the go-between between WooCommerce payments and Stripe, and you offer that functionality inside of the back end. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, as Nicky's here, is if you haven't come across Nicky's endeavors on a podcast, here it is. It's the Get Hired podcast. And you very, very briefly mentioned it at some point earlier in the podcast. What is it? What is the Get Hired podcast? What do you do?
I'm very, very new to the podcast world,
Yeah.
obviously. But we just started, we recorded our first episode last Friday with Corey, actually. So thank you again, Corey, for being our guinea pig. But it's a free resource for people who have been struggling to get hired, that need practice with interviewing, or, we do a free resume review, talk about your portfolio, and give you tips on how to interview effectively, and how to get your resume noticed. So we're not actually hiring people for it, but we're giving people exposure to the other side, what it looks like from our hiring side when you're interviewing with somebody, just so that you can get that practice and feel comfortable in that environment.
So the trade-off, I suppose, in Corey's case is that whatever you do and say is going to be public, but nevertheless, it's quite a nice exchange, isn't it? You're getting quite a lot of valuable intel from you and your co-host, Misty Coombs, I'm going to say. Hopefully I pronounced that correct. Combs. Okay, sorry. Yep. And you're getting a load of free information back from you and her, so that you can hopefully up your resume, interview questioning technique, game, and what have you. So yeah, that's neat. What a nice idea. Corey, did you? Not that you're going to say otherwise, but did you enjoy the experience? Did you get a lot of interesting info?
It was great. Nice. I mean, and I feel as you'll hear when you listen, probably 3 or 4 times. It's such a crucial topic that just doesn't get discussed enough. So I love the premise of there being practice. I love the premise of there being resume reviews, because obviously everybody can kind of learn from these different examples. And oh, he shouldn't have said that, and oh, that that bit of info on the resume is great and whatnot. The feedback was awesome. But for me, I was more enthusiastic about the fact that this topic's being broached, and sort of the second half of the recording, we got into some of our own experiences and whatnot, because it's just interviewing is tough. It's scary for a lot of people, and you only do it maybe every once every couple of years or a few years, or even if it's a couple of times a year. Anyway, it's and there's just so much about it. And it's not readily discussed. And so hearing from a couple of people who are on the hiring side, discussing that, I think is just awesome for it to be out there.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because like most people, you literally only practice it when you do it. And if you do ever get to practice it, it's probably with some like well-meaning person in your family who's willing to listen, but probably isn't going to provide you with the kind of incisive questioning that you need to be drilled on, and then give you the sort of technical feedback that you might need. What a neat idea, Nicky! Congratulations. Have you enjoyed the podcasting experience thus far? A lot of people start a podcast, and keeping it going is I hope that you manage to do that.
I have to thank Michelle Frechette, actually. She kind of approached me and helped brainstorm this idea, and she's been incredible for everything. So, but yeah, it's been fun so far.
Great. Well, let's hope it continues.
So
are you looking for guests? Are you looking for potential? Well, I don't want to use the word like victims, but you know what I mean? People who are willing to put themselves through this, and hopefully, it's a quid pro quo, isn't it? You get a nice podcast show out of it, and they get hopefully some interesting, intel from you. Are you looking for people to come forward and
Absolutely.
offer their... Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But we have a sign up on the post status page. I think I linked it over to you in the document there. But it has a little bit more information about the show, and if you want to sign up and participate, you're welcome to. There's no, you can be from anywhere. There's no restrictions on where you're from or what kind of jobs you're looking for or anything. So if you're job seeking at any level, you're welcome.
Nice. So yeah, the post on post status is poststatus.com/ and then the words are hyphenated, get hired podcast. Alternatively, if you wait till tomorrow morning, the links will be in the show notes for this episode number 321 of the WP Builds podcast. So yeah, that's great. Nice. There were a couple of other bits and pieces that I did want to mention, but time and tide has caught up with us. I apologize. We've already overrun by about 10 minutes, so I hope that's not troubled anybody too badly. That's it. That's all we've got time for this week. I'd just like to thank my co-host over there, Taco Verdonshot with a C, who nearly said the word telephone. Oh no, was it you? Somebody nearly said telephone.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, Corey Maass down there. Thank you very much. And look at every single opportunity.
The cup is actually empty at this point.
Send me one of those, please, and I too will promote OMG, IMG.
Well,
and Nicky Bulmer. Thank you, the three of you, for joining us. Nicky, sadly, the bit that you don't realize is that we have this slightly humiliating hand wave thing that we do right at the end to make the album art for this podcast. And what we basically have to do is put your big hands somewhere and get your head between it. We all do it at the same time. So, Nicky, are you willing to do this? There you go. And that does it. And I have all the hands of the WordPress folk on my website, wpbuilds.com. Go check it out. But yeah, thank you. And may I say thank you so much to those people who've made a comment. Nomad Skateboarder, I have no words. He keeps giving me cash. And this is a new thing to me. I didn't realize this was possible until he did it. So I appreciate you doing that. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you to anybody else who commented today. I really appreciate it. Guests, I'll be sticking around if you want to have a chat at the end. But to everybody else, thank you. We'll be here next week. Take it easy. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.